Well, today we are going to start with the revision, and as what we decided yesterday, today we are going to start with the revision of the very good and important chapter of permutations and combinations. And for that matter, look at me now. First of all, we are going to have the revision of all the types of problems in that chapter, and then we are going to solve the additional question bank of that particular chapter. समझा? इस एडिशन मतलब मिसलेनियस एक्सरसाइज में फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स भी आते हैं, एमसीक्यूज भी आते कवर होते हैं, ट्रू फॉल्स भी कवर होते हैं. So we are going to discuss about that fabulous chapter of permutations and combinations. As what we discuss here, nobody will disturb by any means now. Look at me. As a revision, we are not just going to solve the problems, but we are going to first of all discuss the concepts in that. My first point of revision is that you have two parts in this chapter. One is permutation and the other one is the combination. So the whole chapter is decomposed into basically these two types. Now, whenever the order is important, it is permutation, and whenever the order is not important, it will be the combination. Now, for that matter, whenever we arrange, it's a permutation, and whenever we select, it is a combination. When we arrange, it's a permutation, and when we select, it's a combination. Clear? Simultaneously keep on writing. Now, generally, whenever we form a word, whenever we form a number, whenever we consider the seating arrangement, it will be referred to as the permutations. And whenever we select a committee, whenever we select a team, whenever we select a group, whenever we select the balls, whenever we select cards, like that, we consider combination. Then we consider the combination. That is my first point of discussion. What is the difference? How will you identify whether it is a permutation or it is a combination? Now, as a second point, it is addition theorem and multiplication theorem. When I am talking about the addition theorem, you have to understand that when the cases are connected by OR, that OR means plus and means multiplication. OR means plus and means into. OR means plus and means into. ये आपको समझा है क्या? Now, whenever I am talking about the permutation, when I talk about a permutation, that permutation is either without repetition, or it is with repetition. Now, when I say without repetition, what it means is that, for example, no digit is repeated. No digit is repeated. What it means is a digit occurs only once. A digit occurs only once. It is once, it is not once. Whereas here, a digit can occur. A digit can occur any number of times. Digit can occur any number of times. That is the basic difference between without and with. Now what happens here, another fundamental difference between the two is that imagine you have 4 places and you have 5 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4 and what 5, suppose 5 digits. Then suppose 2 comes here for example, then other 4 will be available here. Whereas in this case, if I consider 4 places and if I consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits, and for example if 2 occurs here, all 5 will be available here. So others and all, ये basic difference है दोनों के बीच में का. Is that clear? Now, in without repetition, if there are n objects and r places, then this number of permutations is equal to npr. Whereas that number of permutations here is equal to n raised to r. It is npr here and n raised to r there. But remember, whenever I say npr, that n must be greater than or equal to r. In short, जो बड़ा नंबर है वो पहले लिखना है. And therefore what happens is that, as such what happens is that if you have say 5 digits, 3 places, or 3 digits, 5 places, in both of the cases the number is equal to 5p3 and it is never 3p5. All right. Now, as the basic fourth point over here is that this NPR has R factors. This has R factors. What does it mean? If I say 5P3, then it will have 3 factors, 5 into 4 into 3. 3 factors. If I have 7P4, for that matter 7P4 will have 4 factors, 7, 6, 5, 4. 7P2, then it will be equal to 7 into 6. Now remember, anything P0, that anything P0 is 1. For that matter, NPN is N, N factorial. N factorial. N, N. Alright. NPR has R factors, those we find like these. Yes or no? So this is without repetition and with repetition. Now, in that without repetition, if all objects are different, if all objects are different, then the number of course is NPR. But if some objects are repeated, for that matter suppose some letters are repeated, if some letters are repeated, then we divide by factorials of the number of repetitions. Then we divide by the factorials of the number of repetitions. Now what it means is that if I ask you how many words can be formed using the letters of the word Friday, then 6 letters, 6 places will be 6P6, which is 6 factorial, which is equal to 720. But if I say accountant, then how many letters are there? 6, 10. Na? Then it will be 10P10 divided by. Now 2 factorial because A occurs twice. 2 factorial because C occurs twice. Another 2 factorial because T occurs twice. And 2 factorial because N occurs twice. So we divide by the factorials of number of repetitions. We divide by the factorials of number of repetitions. Clear? Revision does not mean only solving. Basically, you have to develop the whole insight into the chapter. Well, again, my next point is in permutations. In permutations, another variety of questions is together and separated. Objects are together, objects are separated. Now, when you say objects are together, enclose them in a big box. Enclose them in a big box. And in case of separated, forget them. Forget those who are separated. Arrange others. Arrange others. And then consider the alternate places. Then consider the alternate places. Now what does it mean? That in case if I say that the word given is, suppose if I say the word given is maybe computer. And there I say that the vowels together, vowels separated. The vowels together and the vowels separated. Mind well, it's the same chapter, same revision that we are doing at present that you will require in foundation also next year. Next year means coming year. Then what will I do? O, E, U, 3 vowels are there. In all, how many letters are there? C, O, M, P. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now those O, E, U, I enclose them in a big box. Now these are 5 and this is 1. 6 boxes, 6 places, 6p6. And these OEU, 3 letters, 3 places, 3p3. Whereas, in case if vowels are separated, then I arrange 5 others. C, M, P, T, R. That's 5 letters, 5 places, 5, P, 5. And then I consider alternate places 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for O, E, U. So it is going to be 6 places for the 3 letters. We write 6p3. However, here if I put a condition that the word put is found. So what happens? PUT must be together, but they are together in the same order. As such, what will happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now PUT enclose. PUT enclose. PUT enclose. So these are 5 and this is 1. It will be 6 P6. But now P is fixed and U is fixed. So it is 1 P1 into 1 P1 into 1 P1. Because I cannot interchange the order. If you want the word put, P is fixed, U is fixed, T is fixed. Oh. Put ready? See, when would you get a word put? When PUT are basically together. No other letter can come in between. But PUT must be together in that order. It cannot become TUP. It cannot become UPT. So P is fixed at the first place, U is fixed at the second place, T is fixed at the third place. That is how it is 1P1, 1P1, 1P1. Basically they are together, but they are together not in any random order, but they are together in that order. Alright. So this was one more feature of that permutation. Now, as a point number 6 here in for revision is all about circular permutations. Circular permutations. So, whenever n objects, the first point over that is n objects can be circularly placed in n minus 1 bracket factorial ways. So for that matter, 6 children can be arranged at a round table in 5 factorial, which is equal to 120 ways. Clear? However, in that case, if you have n flowers, n beads, etc., then the number is equal to half of n minus 1 factorial. It is half of n minus 1 factorial. Now, basically remember that factorial sign is also written by considering L looking box like this. That also is another notation of writing the factorial.
त्याचे मागचं लॉजिक सांगणार ते पाय फॅक्टोरियल का लिहिलं 6 चिल्ड्रन अरेंज करायचे म्हणून पाय फॅक्टोरियल का लिहिलं n - 1 का केलं सर्क्युलर मध्ये.
We had discussed it, but I repeat. What happens, you have suppose 6 children and you have to arrange them at a circle. We had to arrange them at a circle. Right? What I will do is, I will tell anybody to sit at any place. So when one person goes and sits here, circle is broken. Now it has got a left corner, right corner. So for the remaining 5 people, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is like a row. When one person sits at any one place, circle is broken, and therefore when the circle is broken, the remaining people will be like a row, because what is the difference between row and circle? Row has left corner, right corner, but circle does not have a corner. Circle does not have a corner. Why? Because when you make a round of it, left corner and right corner coincide. So there is no corner. And you can look into this in that way also. That suppose there are 6 chairs in the row, there is a left corner, right corner. But when you make a round of it, right and left corners coincide. Therefore, one corner is dropped. So only 5 places will be remaining. You understand? It's like that. And if they put a condition that no person has same 2 neighbors, no person has same 2 neighbors, no person has same 2 neighbors, then also it is half of n minus 1 factorial. Why? Because when you say ABC, who are the neighbors of B? Then CBA is not allowed. Why? Because again, B's neighbors are same. Only thing is that neighbors are interchanging the places. But you are putting a condition, no same neighbors should be there, no 2 same neighbors should be there. So once you have written ABC, CBA is not allowed. And therefore these 2 mean 1. These 2 mean 1. These 2 are same. And therefore we divide by 2. समझा ना? Ketki in the middle, Arjun to the right and Pawar to the left. Her neighbors are what? Arjun and Pawar. But now if they interchange, then Pawar comes to the right and Arjun goes to the left. Neighbors are same. So those 2 mean 1. And when 2 mean 1, you have to divide by 2 factorial. So what happens? Now there are 3 students, Arjun, Ketki and Pawar. So there are 3 people. But when you make a couple of Arjun and Ketki, now there will be only 2, because those 2 mean 1, na? One family. And therefore those 2 mean 1. So you have to divide by 2. It's like that. नुसतं कळलंच नाही म्हणावं तर गुदगुल्या पण झाल्या. All right. Now, just to have a quick review of this, what we said. If I ask you, in how many ways can 5 boys and 3 girls be arranged at a round table? Be arranged at a round table. Then what happens? In all, there are 8 people. And for 8 people, the number in circle is 7 factorial, which is 5040. Now, if I put a condition that the girls together The girls are together. Now, tell me what will happen. Girls together, what will happen? They will start fighting. Girls together means they will start fighting. Because two girls cannot be together for longer time. Then in that case, what happens is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 are the kale kale boys, and these 3 are the red girls. Now, if the girls are together, we enclose them in a big box. So there will be 6 boxes, and those 6 boxes can be circularly arranged in 5 factorial ways. But first placement is round, but the second placement for the 3 girls, it is going to be row 3p3. So it is going to be 5 factorial into 3p3.
सरस पार्टी आहे ना सॅफ्रॉन सर सर आज आहे ना सर आम्ही डबा आणला पण सर वरती काय नाही सर डबा नाही आणला कोणी
Now if I put a condition that no two girls together, no two girls are together, no two girls together. In that case, what will you do? You will forget the girls. You will forget the girls and arrange the 5 boys. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So for those 5 boys, it will be 4 factorial. Now I consider alternate places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternate places. So 5 places for the 3 girls. It will be 5p3. As such, it is 4 factorial into 5p3. If I put a condition, only 2 girls are together. Only 2 girls are together. I put a condition, only 2 girls together. Only the 2 girls together. In that case, what will I do? Forget the 1 girl. Forget one girl. That means what will happen now? You are going to arrange 5 black boys, 2 pink girls, and because these 2 girls are together, we enclose them in a big box. As such, there will be 6 boxes, and therefore they can be circularly placed in 5 factorial ways. But for the 2 pink places, there are 3 girls available, and therefore 3 girls and those 2 places will be 3p2. You had 3 girls. I want 2 girls be together. So it is 3p2. Any objection? Any objection? Objection overruled. So I want 2 girls be together. Alright? Now remains 1 girl. That 1 girl should be between the boys. She should not be near the girls. And therefore between the boys, 1, 2, 3, 4 places for that 1 girl. And therefore 4 places for the 1 girl, it will be 4p1. And as such, the number is 5 factorial into 3p2 into 4p1. Very classical question. And then consider the point number next. And that is the point number what? Point number next. 7. Point number 7. I consider the point number 7. And that point number 7 is of combinations. Now, whenever there is a problem on combinations, basically you have to make the classes. You have to make the classes. One class of objects having conditions. Objects having condition. Objects having condition. And then other class of other. So there you have to understand at least is minimum, and it means greater than or equal to. And at most is maximum is less than or equal to, and when you say that including 0. So you have to understand this mini, this maxi. मिनी से बड़ा होना चाहिए, मैक्सी से छोटा होना चाहिए. You can remember this way. All right. Now, for that matter, now in this case, if there are n objects, are to be selected, then the number of combinations is equal to the number of selections. Selection is combination is equal to NCR and this NCR is n factorial over r factorial n minus r bracket factorial. Mind you well, NPR was n factorial over n minus r bracket factorial. So what happens is that this r factorial in the denominator is an extra factor in NCR. Clear? Formula NCR is equal to n factorial over r factorial n minus r bracket factorial, whereas NPR is n factorial over n minus r bracket factorial. तो NCR में एक एक्स्ट्रा r फैक्टोरियल आता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई आस्क यू what is 7p3, it is 7 factorial over 7 minus 3 bracket factorial 7 factorial over 4 factorial, which is equal to 7, 6, 5, 4 factorial, and that divided by 4 factorial will be cut. And that is how you got 3 factors there. हमने क्या लिखा था? Those 3 factors are here, 7, 6, 5. But whenever I had to write 7C3, it will be 7 factorial over 3 factorial and then 7 minus 3, 4 factorial. So it will be 7, 6, 5, 4 factorial over 3 factorial into 4 factorial will be cut. Don't say cutted, because a girl, a batch earlier shouted cutted. I said, you're perfectly a girl. Hi, Radhika. ही शनाया आहे आणि ती राधिका. चुप आहे. All right. Now, therefore, you can see that this is 7 into 6 into 5 over 3 factorial. So, combination contains this 3 factorial in denominator, which was not there in permutation. As such, what happens, point number 9? As such, what happens is that, as a point number 9, if I ask you, what is 6p0? It is 1. But if I ask you what is 6c0, even that is 1. If I ask you 6p1, then it is 6. And if I ask you 6c1, then it is 6. But if I ask you what is 6p2, then it is just 6 into 5. But if I ask you, if I say 62, then it is 6 into 5 over 2 factorial, which is equal to 30 upon 2, which is 50. It is just 30, and that is divided by 2 factorial. If I ask you 66p3, then it is 6 into 5 into 4. Whereas if I ask you 63, then it is 6 into 5 into 4. That divided by 3 factorial. If I ask you 6p4, then there are 4 factors. 6, 5, 4, 3. Whereas 6c4 will be 6, 5, 4, 3, and that divided by 4 factorial, which is 24. If I ask you 6p5, then it is 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2, which actually is 6 factorial, because into 1 you write, you don't write, makes no difference. But if I ask you 6c5, then that is 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 over 5 factorial, rather, correct na? So it is equal to 6. And then if I ask you 6p6, then you know it is 6 factorial. But if I ask you 6c6, then it is 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 over 6 factorial, but it is same, so it is just 1. Over. Now remember, we have 2 more results related to combination. Remember, as a 10 point over here, that NPR, rather NCR, listen, NCR is NCN minus R, the difference between the two. What does it mean? What it means is that 5C3 is same as 5C2, the difference between these. 1000C99, or for that matter 1000C90 is same as 1000C910, na? The difference between these. So this is very important result, and what is that result? NCR is NCN minus R. And the one more result that we require is that NPR over NCR happens to be R factorial. Happens to be what? R factorial. So, for example, if I tell you NPR is 720 and NCR is 120, then R is equal to what? So what you know is that NPR over NCR is equal to R factorial, and therefore 720 over 120 is R factorial, which is 6. But 6 is 3 factorial, and as such R is 3. All right. Did you not notice something?
What, sir?
Did you not notice something? माझा उभा राहिला बघ.
मोबाईल. सर चमकताय तुम्ही मस्त लाईट मध्ये. काय झालं
All right. Fine. Now, stop talking. Stop talking. Imagine I consider, imagine if I consider few results. What does it have? The one result that we have already written is NCR is equal to NCN minus R. This is the one result we have already written. And now the second result is that if NPX, rather NCX is equal to NCY, then two possibilities exist. And the one possibility is that X is equal to Y, or then X plus Y should be equal to N. Very important result. So based on that, if I tell you that 18C2R is equal to 18C2R minus 2, and if I ask you R is equal to what? Come on.
2R minus 19.
2R minus 2. Then what happens? Remember what you said just now is that this 2R plus this 2R minus 2 should be equal to 18. As such, 2R plus 2R minus 2 is 18. So 4R is equal to 20, and therefore R is 5. Good question. Now remember, one more result that we require here is, stop talking. As a point number 12 of the revision, एक बार तुम आज जितना होता है उतनी रिवीजन को समझ सकते हो तो यू कैन सॉल्व एनी टाइम क्वेश्चन इन द एक्सरसाइज, एनी एक्सरसाइज ऑफ दिस चैप्टर, and not only of this chapter of 11th standard but in the chapter in foundation as well. So the next result is that NCR plus NCR minus 1 is equal to N plus 1 CR. What does it mean? This R and this R minus 1, इन दोनों में the larger number is R. That R occurs here. And ये जो N है that increases by 1. Now what does it mean? What it means is that suppose if I write 7C4 plus 7C5, तो ये दोनों भी 7 7 है, तो 7 का बनेगा 8 and the larger of these two is 5, so it is 8C5. But if I write 7C4 plus 7C3, then the larger of these is not 5 but it is 4, so it is 8C4. There is a classical variety of question based on this. That if I ask you 8C4 plus 8C5 plus 9C6 plus 10C7 plus 11C8 is equal to 12CR, then R is what? So I start with this, what is given? What is given? 8C4 plus 8C5 plus 9C6 plus 10C7 plus 11C8 is 12CR. I start and consider the two terms. So here N is 8 and R is the larger of the two, which is 5. So the very value of that is 9C5. So 9C5 plus 9C6 plus 10C7 plus 11C8 is 12CR. Now you consider first two terms over here. So here N is 9, R is 6. As such, it will be 10C6 plus 10C7 plus 11C8 will be equal to 12CR. Now consider these two. And here N is 10, R is 7. So 11C7 plus 11C8 is 12CR. Now I consider these two. N is 11 and R is the bigger, which is 8. Therefore 12C8 is equal to 12CR. Now I use that result that if NCX is equal to NCY, then either X is equal to Y, or then X plus Y is equal to N. So what happens here is that either 8 is equal to R, or then 8 plus R should be 12, and therefore I end up with R being 4 or 8. It's a very typical question. Typical means what? Typical म्हणजे चहा आणि लोणचं, टी आणि पिकल. तो घरी गेल्यावर चहामध्ये लोणचं घालून पिऊन बघा. So what do you mean by typical? What do you mean by typical? उद्या चहा पी. उद्या चहा पी. टी पी कल. टी पी कल. What do you mean by typical? What do you mean by typical? ती म्हातारी होईल. टी पिकल. 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 ही कशी दिसेल पॉवर म्हातारी झाल्यावर? बघ, इमॅजिन कर पॉवर म्हातारी झाल्यावर कशी दिसेल. Is that over? ये हो गया है क्या? Very good. So few results we saw. Now remember, as a point number what? 13. As a point number 13 related to selection of how many? हो हो गेट पाशी. ओके गेट पाशी. काय काय झालं? चुकलं का काही? मुलाला बोलवलं रे. मुलाला बोलवलं. काही म्हणतो मी त्याला. Is that over? Selection of 1, 2, 3, 4, objects. 1, 2, 3, 4 objects, etc. Selection of 1, 2, 3, 4 objects, etc. Now there you have to remember that in case if AB is same as BA, then we consider combination. Then I consider combination. But if AB is not same as BA, then I consider permutation. Is that clear? Samjha? We'll see the problem based on this tomorrow. So tomorrow in first maybe 20-25 minutes, we will complete the revision part of it and then we will solve the additional exercise, miscellaneous exercise. All right, we stop.